Bam! The gent from Ferrum Fortune Mass Drop, and the Rustic gent from CIVIVI themselves. So I'm gonna compare them really quickly. This is a very casual video. I got to return this nice, and I thought it'd be fun to just compare them really quickly. I'm gonna do functionality, I'm gonna do blade, I'm gonna do handle, lock types, carryability, etc. And I'm not gonna, if you want to skip to the end and know which one won, the one that won my heart, yeah, I'm not gonna tell you right away. Anywho, yeah, let's just start with the blade real quick. So on the gent side, I'm gonna call this the rustic, but it's the rustic gent. So on the blade side, they're both very slicey. They're both very exacto-ish type blades. This is an orange pill. Like, you can just do very precise cuts with it if you please to. Same thing with the rustic. It is more of a clippy, Bowie, buck 110 type thing, but it's still very handleable. And because of that swedge, it makes it very pokey. This one's more of a hollow grind. It's very subtle, very subtle. They both have around the same cutting edge, which is, this is 3 inches, this is just under 3 inches. Just blade wise, the one that I think would win for everyday carry, the gent. For looks, I think the look on the rustic is better, just in my opinion, again, because of this beautiful swedge down here that makes it really pokey, just very classy, very buck 110-ish. And then it's got this it's not called a blood groove, I guess opening groove, which is machined very nicely, very well, and that's how you open it for the most part. Again, like the buck 110 is kind of ugly because of this, kind of makes it look like an eye. This buck 110 is actually pretty cool. It's a vintage piece from my boss. He let me check it out. Yeah, watch the video for this one. It's coming out sometime. Yeah, like and subscribe so you can watch that later. The size is good to go on the blade, so I'd give the just overall usability for me in my life, I would give it to the gent up here. For looks, again, this is personal preference, I'd give the looks to the rustic. Then we move down and we look at like sample the pivot, and how you can't even see the pivot on this one. The pivot is under the G10 scales. So, and this one has that cool Carlos EDC C, and just maybe polish, maybe satin screw right there. So I don't know, pivot wise they're both cool, I think, but this one has the C for Carlos EDC. Handle wise is titanium and G10, but you can get one in carbon fiber, you can get one in wood. This one, same thing, you got carbon fiber and micarta, but same thing, like option wise, you can get natural micarta, you can green micarta, and I'm sure they'll make more, and I'm sure they'll make Damascus eventually. So handle wise, looks wise, I'm gonna give it to the rustic just because I like micarta. It's something new to me and it's cool, and the carbon fiber is pretty classy. In ergonomics, I'm gonna give them to the rustic again, just because this one has a clip and a little more curves to it, but this is just some freaking clean, smooth, contoured lines. So I mean, no clip, so it's got that going for it. I'm not keeping count, by the way. If you are at home, go ahead. And carryability, I'm gonna give it obviously to the gent. It has a pocket clip. I mean, obviously you're gonna win carryability. Just slip this down your pocket. It doesn't mess up your things in the pocket because the pocket picker is not that big and it's chamfered. It was awesome to carry this thing. It comes in and out of your pocket very easily. Carryability wise, this one came in with a slippy, so it's gonna win against most traditionals. Let's say it's gonna win against your Barlow from Case. It's gonna win against your Buck from Buck 110 from Buck. I mean, this thing's gorgeous. Look at that. That's real wood. That's real vintage wood. Nah, it's stabilized. Maybe it is stabilized, but it's wood. Anyway, we'll go back to that later. That thing's cool. It's gonna win against most traditionals because the slippy's well made and it's got a pocket clip on it. But against the gent from Drop, it's gonna lose because this was such a pleasure to carry. Action wise, for ADC, that thing's gonna win. But just for nerd, like that's, oh yeah, just for nerding out. I like this backlock. It's very new to me in terms of like a good backlock action. Let's say, for example, Spyderco has good backlocks, but it's just different. It's really different. I could do that all day while watching a movie. But if you're driving and fidgeting with your knife, and if you're a knife guy, you do that. Don't act like you don't. Okay, you do that. You fidget with your knife when you're in the car. So for everyday carry, deployment, and close ability, I'm gonna give it to the Gent. But that doesn't mean the Rustic doesn't have a certain flair to it. So in terms of value, they're both very reasonable. I'm gonna call that a tie. I don't see a problem with me purchasing either one of these. Just in terms of value, I like to get my money's worth, even if it's an expensive one. For example, this is $215, but I think it's worth it. I think it still has some value to it. At 165, at 170 when it came out, that was great value. But I think at 215, still value. So price brackets, yeah, they matter, but value is what matters the most to me, and I think these both hit the mark. I think this is 120 when you upgrade to carbon fiber or wood. I don't know what the price of this current model is, but I'm sure it's under 120 because it's just G10. And the price on this one is, I think, around $80. I'll put the price right here. So yeah, I think they're value. Okay, their value. D2 on CIVIVI knives is good to go. I've tried it. I've owned knives. I've tested it. I've EDC'd it. I've sharpened it. D2 is good to go. S35VN, same thing. Everybody has carried S35VN for a long time, and they have sharpened it, etc. It's good to go, especially from CIVIVI and companies like Spyderco and Benchmade. So, like, in conclusion, in this comparison, guys, it's just casual comparison. No numbers were thrown out. This is just my personal opinion. I think I should face the camera for this. So, in my opinion, I'm buying a rustic gent. Why? Because I don't have a traditional backlock. I kind of do, but I don't. There's a buck 110 somewhere. I can't find it. But this is just, I like it. I want to have one to keep in my box. I want to have one for comparison later. I want to have one. I want to own this thing. And under $100, I don't see why not. I'll just, skip lunch a couple times or something. I don't know. Again, micarta, carbon fiber, great action. I can EDC it, but it's gonna be mostly a secondary blade or a blade I keep in my box. The gent, I'm not talking smack about the gent. The gent is a beautiful, great knife for EDC. I recommend it to anybody. If you DM me and you're like, hey man, I'm looking at the gent, what do you think? I'm gonna be like, you like it? You like the design? You have the money? Buy it. It's a great knife. It's a recommendable knife. It is. I can't call it a gem because that's from another channel. I need like a gem status type thing for my channel. I don't know. It's the full enchilada. Okay, the gent is the full enchilada. Trust me, I'm Carlos EDC. But it's just for like my collection. I don't see a place for it. But this one I do see a place for it, and so it's coming in my collection. I don't know when, because I'm still thinking about which one to get. There's so many of them now, and now they have it in that CIVIVI Damascus thing, which I hear is good to go. And might test it too, because if I'm gonna buy it, I'm gonna keep it. So I might buy the Damascus and test it. Just comment down below which one I should get, so to get more perspective. But yeah, like, subscribe. I think the subscribe button's right here. This is something that YouTube recommends, and this is something I usually pick for you guys. Please have a great, wonderful day. Stay cool.